is Evelyn, and welcome back to my Flosstube channel for Flosstube episode 9. If you're new here, this is a channel about cross-stitch and all things crafty, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for spending a little more stitchy time with me. I don't know if you can tell, but I do have a bit of a new setup today. So I got a new webcam, and obviously I'm wearing my glasses, so I hope the ring light isn't too bad, but you know, we'll see. It is Sunday, May the 9th. It is 5:40 p.m. So it's a little later. I imagine that the sun will start going down at some point in this video, but it's been one of those weekends. So I'm here now. I'm in my casual jumper and everything, and very excited to talk about some crafting. Let's see, life update. Not a whole lot has happened in the past 2 weeks. I've been just kind of doing a bit of school, a bit of mania. I'm currently working on an article that's like an edited version of my master's. I'm splitting it kind of into 2 articles. So I've been working on one of those, hopefully to submit to a journal in the next little while, sort of as my next project after finishing the chapter that I just finished, before I start on the next one. And it's officially Easter term here, which is like our 3rd trimester, and all of the students are revising for exams, so I'm doing a lot of revision supervisions in the next 2 weeks, so fingers crossed all that goes okay. And the big exciting thing is that I have my hair appointment on Tuesday, so the next time you see me I will be fresh and hopefully more put together looking. My roots are so long. My roots are like 5 inches right now, so very excited for that. Again, I apologize if the glare is really bad on my glasses. I probably won't do this again, but it just seemed like a lot of effort to put my contacts in at this point in the day when I had already worn my glasses all day, so you know it is what it is. All right, we have a good bit of stuff to talk about today. Most of my plans have to do with mania and like what I've worked on, although I have done a good bit of knitting and a good bit of sewing since the last time you saw me. So I have quite a bit of exciting things to show there. Before we get to that point though, let's deal with some admin stuff from last video, and then we'll do material minute like usual, and then kind of move into the rest of my crafty things. So first up, I just wanted to say thank you all again for subscribing to my channel and continuing to engage with me and be my Flosstube friends. It just means the world. So with regards to last week's 3K giveaway, I have pulled the winners off of a random comment picker. Let me get the patterns. Okay, so just as a refresher, so the 3 patterns that I was giving away are all from Lindy Stitches. So the first is Edna Goes to Brunch. This webcam autofocuses, so hopefully it doesn't get too weird. The second was Hedgehog House. Oh, that's so nice. Look, I didn't have to move it around a lot for it to focus. Yay! Okay. And then the last one is Autumn Royalty from Lindy Stitches, which has the, oh, wrong way, the Prince of Pies. So if you wanted to win this one, the word was hedgehog. If you wanted to win this one, the word was prince. And if you wanted to win this one, the word was brunch. And I loved everybody's cute little like sentences about how they want to go to brunch with a prince and a hedgehog. It was just adorable. And so we have 3 winners, 1 for each chart, and I will be sending these anywhere in the world. So contact me with your address and I will get them out to you. So the first one is the winner of Edna Goes to Brunch, and this goes to Leanne Martin. And I will put your little picture up on the screen so that you know that it's you, Leanne Martin. Prince goes to Helen Berry. And from your comment, Helen, it sounds like you might be in the southern hemisphere because, you know, I asked people to say what their spring was going to be. And she was like, it's autumn here. So that's fun to send it to someone so far away. And then last up, Hedgehog House goes to Karin Monnich, I believe. I hope I said your last name right. But Karin, this goes to you. So congratulations, Leanne, Helen, and Karin. Yay! Happy mail is coming your way. So if you all, I will comment on your comment once I'm done filming. And then if you all will either send me an email at Evelyn across the pond, I will put it here. Or if you message me over on Instagram, also Evelyn across the pond, although my email I think has periods instead of the underscores because they didn't let me use underscores. So you can also DM me over on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way if you're technologically inclined. Otherwise you can email me, or I guess you could just reply to the YouTube comment. Whatever way, we'll figure something out and I'll get your address and get those mailed out to you as soon as I can. So yay! Thank you guys. Congratulations to the winners. Thank you to everyone else for being part of our little Stitchy community here on our little corner of Flosstube. The next admin thing was the Q&A. So I mentioned in the last video that if you had any questions that you wanted to ask me about like my life or stitching or whatever, you know, put them in the comments below. And I did get a few questions. The first one was from Be More Creative, and she asked, they asked, I guess I don't know. Do I have an idea how I'm going to finish a project before I start it and I work on it with the intention that it's going to be that thing, or do I wait until I finish the project and then decide what it's going to be after? And I would say I'm more of the former. So I tend to imagine an item and then think about what I'm going to, you know, I imagine the item in my house and then I decide that I want to stitch it. Although I think sometimes I do afterwards if it's like a small or something, and then I kind of debate how exactly I want to do the small. But with certain things like Tulip House or whatever, I knew I wanted to frame that from the beginning. Hello Dear, I guess I figured out in the middle of the way. I don't know, maybe I'm in the in-between, but I would say I tend to like envision the project, so I'm probably more on the previously planning the finish side. They also asked if I backstitch during my regular like stitching or if I backstitch at the end of a project. I kind of do both, I guess. So for my Robin Christmas wreath, I did backstitch during on that piece because there was a lot of backstitching, and I kind of basically completed each section as a whole because I could kind of fit it all in the frame at the same time, so it didn't really matter. I wasn't going to crush the stitches. For my Stitchrovia Santa, like flying soaring Santa piece, I did backstitch at the end on that one, because the batch stitching was Krynic for the most part, and that seemed like something that I wanted to save until the end to figure out. So I guess it kind of depends. I haven't done pieces that have loads of backstitching other than those two. But yeah, I mean, I think what I tend to do while I stitch is if I move the Q-snap to be on top of other stitches, I put a little piece of felt over the stitches before I clasp the Q-snap onto it to protect them. And I've done that with backstitching before, and I haven't had an issue where it becomes kind of wonky or starts like pulling out or anything like that. So that tends to be my method, and I haven't had issues with that, but you know, see if that works for you. The felt trick is good. I think people who do beading, I know obviously it can like snap the beads and break them, so I know people who do beading kind of use the scroll frame plus felt, which I've heard also works, but I haven't done a piece with beading, so I can't necessarily share my personal thoughts on that. Rachel O asked me how I start and stop my stitches and how I stitch with variegated floss, which are very good questions. As for variegated floss, I complete each X individually, which is different than how I usually stitch because I usually tend to do one row across and then like all the way back across the stitches and sort of do my second leg on the way back because I like the way that lays better with like DMC. But for my variegated stitches, I do them one X at a time, and I think that that really helps make sure that the variegation lays how I want it to, because if you, and I've read some articles about this online, but if you go and do the like across and come back on it, you can have a tendency to have the bottom of the stitch be like a completely different color than the top of the stitch, as opposed to like the blend that you get if you complete one X at a time, where the crosses will blend kind of with the ones next to them and give you that really nice kind of variegated effect. It can look kind of weird if you do it the other way. So that's what I would recommend. And the only thing to be careful about though is how variegated your floss is and what it is that you're stitching for, so that you don't get like stripiness in a thing that you don't want stripiness in. So if you're doing something where it's like supposed to look like wood or something, then you might want to do stripes, and you know, you might do them vertically or horizontally depending upon what kind of grain you want it to look like it has or whatever. If you're doing something like some of those like Hello from Liz Matthews smalls, a lot of people use variegated floss for those. And what I tend to do, because I want them to like blend across the words rather than like stripe, is I kind of work one cross and then sort of work the one next to it and the one beneath it, and then kind of go like that as I fill it out so that it kind of like blends rather than stripes. But that's just something to be aware of. In terms of how I start and stop my stitches, I'm kind of all over the place with this. I'm not all over the place. It's more that I have a particular way to start and finish based on what it is that I'm doing. So in general, I would say I start my stitches using the pin stitch method. I learned how to do it from Shiloh X Stitch MD's fab little tutorial on how to do it. I will link that in the cards and below. She already made a fabulous video, so there's no reason in me teaching it to you as well, because I'm just copying her. But that kind of is a good way to sort of secure your stitches and make them really strong, especially if you are not having, like if you're starting with a confetti stitch or something like that, where it's more difficult to secure the tail underneath itself. Okay, so that's my general thing. I used to do, basically I would like catch the tail underneath the stitches as I made my first stitch, but now I've kind of replaced that entirely with the pin stitch. Sometimes I do a loop start. Usually if I only need to do like a very few stitches in that color, like maybe 3 or something, and I don't really feel like I want to pull out like 2 full strands, I'll kind of just take one, fold it over, do a quick loop start, do those 3 stitches, and then secure the thread. But I'm not like a religious kind of loop stitch loop starter. I much prefer the pin stitch method, or at least I use it far more often. In terms of how I finish my thread, I don't finish with a pin stitch. I tend to just finish by running my thread under previous stitches and just kind of pull through and then kind of snip it off. Usually like 3 or 4 stitches, but sometimes more. That's how I tend to do it. I do the pin stitch, I should say, on the back of the fabric and not on the front, because I don't like cutting the tail off in the front. I like to have it cut off in the back. And yeah, that's kind of how I start and stop my stitches. I do sometimes use the railroad method, where I've heard people use this word to mean multiple different things, but when I'm using it, I mean to sort of you split your threads before you go back into the fabric to make sure that they don't lay on top of each other, they lay next to each other when you're using 2 strands. And I use that method on like fancy projects or projects with a lot of variegated floss that I want to look really nice. I don't tend to do it with DMC, mostly because I just like can't be bothered to do it unless I'm using like white or something where your stitches like naturally look a bit crap compared to the rest of your stitches because they're more obvious looking. I believe Kristen at Steel City Stitchers did like a little tutorial video for Caterpillar cross stitch about how to railroad stitches. I'll see if I can find that in case you were curious. And then the last question was from Sue P, and she asked about my Funkos in the back of my video. Wait, can you see? Okay. So these are little Funko Pops. I'll pull one. So here's one kind of up close. This is Ariel, obviously from Little Mermaid. This is the outfit that she wears when she combs her hair with the fork. Ariel is my favorite princess. The Little Mermaid has been my favorite since I was a kid. Like, I would be in the pool, like, like pretending I had the tail and everything. Anyway, Ariel is my princess, and I've always really liked this dress. I always wished I had it when I was a kid, so I picked this version rather than the version with her with the tail. But basically, they're like little collectibles of characters, like pop culture characters, basically. I have Sadness from Inside Out, which is a Pixar movie. I have Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter, she's my favorite Harry Potter character. And I have the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, from Doctor Who. And I was really into collecting those a few years ago. I have quite a few more, actually, back at my parents' house, back across the pond. So I might pick those up the next time we can ever get back over there. But yeah, they're just cute and fun. If you're stateside, they sell them, like loads and loads of them in Hot Topic, in case you were interested. And they have them for all kinds of different things, like, you know, Game of Thrones, Friends, cartoons, like all kinds of different things. All right, so that kind of deals with the admin. So let's talk Material Minute really quick. So for this week, obviously, I know a lot of us are kind of in the midst of Stitch mayhem, mania, sania, monogamania, whatever word you would like to use. I do appreciate that some people are kind of straying away from using the word mania just to be more cognizant of mental health issues. I don't really know a better word for sania than sania, so I've just been using that. But if anybody has a word, another idea for a word to use, just let me know. But anyway, so I was thinking about all the people with all their May stitchy plans, and I thought, I wonder what other people were stitching in May in the past, and I came across this sampler that was stitched in May 1819, so May, 200 years ago, there was also stitching happening, and this sampler was worked by Anne Margaret Thume, or Toom, depending upon her pronunciation, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, and I just love this house. That's part of the reason why I wanted to show you, is I just love this house and all the trees. They're just really big trees. I love the fence, and the little like bunnies and animals in the front yard are just really cute. And then there's a floral border around the edges, and then some sort of floral urn motifs, kind of like, traditional Quaker sampler kind of motifs. And this is embroidered with silk threads on linen, and it is currently held at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Met, in the American Wing. I'm not sure if it's on display. I didn't write that down in my database, but I just love this. I just think it's really pretty. And I wish they don't have any images of the back that I can see from the museum, because I wish I could see, how bright the colors once were, because obviously they appear quite muted here, but I'd imagine that the house was kind of a bright brick red. Oh, it's just beautiful, isn't it? I really like big house samplers, like the one that Kathy Barrick put out with that giant Quaker dwelling. Oh my god, I don't know if I would ever stitch that, but I just love how big that house is. I really like houses in samplers, especially when they're like this, when they have so much detail. So yeah. I don't have loads to say about this one this week. I just wanted to share, the Stitch Mania progress of one of our stitchy ancestors. Unfortunately, I don't have any information about Anne or her family. But yeah, just a little stitching from the past. Let's get into my stitching then, shall we? For May 2021, so 202 years afterwards. I have this week to show you an FFO, which was also a start and a finish, and a SAF, if you will. I don't have any other finishes, but I do have some Stitch Mania progress, which includes, or Stitch Sania in my case, which includes some new starts. And then I have some knitting and some sewing, like I said. I'll start with the FFO, I think. So you might have seen it in the video. Ding, 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 ding. I have an FFO. The last time we talked, I had just purchased this Junimo embroidery pattern from Fawn and Floss off of Etsy. I will link it below. It's a really cute shop. She has a lot of like fandom-y kind of embroidery patterns done in a very cute way. A lot of Animal Crossing patterns. So anyway, if you're interested in that, go check it out. And no cross-stitch patterns though. They're all embroidery. And so I pretty much right after I filmed that video, I picked this up and I started it. That's kind of washing it out. Yeah, that's better. So this is on 32 count powder pink splash Murano from Zweigart. And when you show this fabric up close, it kind of looks more like white, but it actually is a pink. And then I just used the called for DMC. So this is a Junimo character from Stardew Valley. If you play that game, it's my favorite game. And then for the finish, so this took me like a day basically. And then for the finish, I just did a little hoop finish. This is I think a 7-inch hoop. Yeah, I think a 7-inch hoop. And I just backed it with a little bit of like a pinky kind of purple like this kind of fabric that I got from the Moda Folklore collection, and I just blanket stitched it on there. And then I wrapped the hoop in let me see if I can get it to focus. Yeah, I wrapped the hoop in ribbon. So I chose a darker pink and then a lighter pink. Focus. Okay, a darker pink and then a lighter pink. And then I kind of like joint wrapped them, so it gave this kind of like spirally barbershop kind of effect, which I thought was really cute in bringing out the pink in the Junimo's cheeks and the pink in the background and everything. And also, like, I have pink curtains in this room. So, wow, that is spot on, actually. Jeez. So anyway, so this is just my little finish, and I've hung it up. So yeah, that was kind of just a quick little thing. And then I think the last time that I filmed was sort of end of April. So I did work on 2 projects, I think, before I got into my May plan. So I'll start with those. So the first one is in one of my Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch project bags that I showed you last time. And this is my Frosted Pumpkins Christmas wreath. Grab the board. And this is a stitch along hosted by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery that is running sort of from the end of 2020 into sort of fall 2021 in time for Christmas. And this is what it looked like the last time that you saw it. And then here is where it is now. So I am all caught up. You can kind of see this. It's hard because of this is like getting bigger than the board is now. Let's see, last time that I showed you this, I was up here working on parts 5 and 6, and I had finished, I believe, all of the green, and I was starting to fill in the little individual motifs, and then I went ahead and I finished those out. I'm just so happy with how this looks. This is just so dang cute. Look at how cute this is. Can you even? Oh, I just love it. I love the little like pastel-y colors. It just makes me happy. And I don't get any kind of like weird, like non-seasonal feelings when I'm stitching this. Like I'm not like, oh, I wish I didn't have to stitch on Christmas stuff. Like this just makes me just happy as all get out. I love this. So I am all caught up in time for the next release at the end of the month, which will be this little part up here. And I'm hoping it's gonna have a Mrs. Claus. So then Santa can have his lady. I love this. So I'm going to be finishing it as they call for. which is as a pillow, and I'm very excited. So all caught up with that, and I am stitching mine on 32 count natural linen from Zweigart with the called for DMC. So after I worked on my wreath, I pulled out for just a couple of days my, also in one of my bags that I made, my Hello Petal. So I am doing this as a sal with quite a few other Flosstube friends and Instagram people. Mary Ashcraft, Sean Craftivating Creations, I think Beth Chadwick has joined us now, Sarah Clumsy Stitcher has joined us now. So there's a lot of people working on this in time for Hello Sunshine to come out at the end of the month. And I'm doing a full conversion on this, just a DMC conversion from Stash, because I wanted to kind of go for some more like natural spring tones rather than Eastery tones. This is what the chart will look like when it's finished. Obviously not the colors, but you know, just so you get an idea. And this is where it was the last time that you saw it. And so since then, I didn't do a whole heck of a lot before May. I had all of this the last time you saw it, up to this kind of, these three motifs or whatever. So I added in, I believe, this leaf, these ones right here, the bottom of this tulip, and this leaf up here, I think. So I'm kind of working up here like a cross. Sorry, I keep moving my hand the backwards way to the camera. God, that's annoying me. Okay, I'm sorry. So I've been working this way basically, and I'm gonna do the chick next and then come round and do the mouse. I'm pretty happy with my color change so far. I'm using all DMC colors, and this is a 28 count white linen from Zweigart. I did the other tree, I did Hello Deer on even weave, but I'm switching to linen for the rest of the trees, but still 28, so they're all the same size. And I showed you this last time, but I switched the bunny to be gray instead of pink. I'm gonna do the mouse in browns instead of gray and brown. I think I'm keeping the chicken the same, but yeah, I'm pulling in more on this side. There'll be a lot more of these kind of like pinkier tones, like this flower and everything. And I had said in the last video that I'm questionable on what it is I want the bird to be at the bottom, and I've had a couple of suggestions to either do like the red of this and make it like a cardinal kind of a bird, or to pull in the blue and make it kind of like a blue jay or a bluebird or something like that. And I think I probably will toy with doing that just so that it looks a bit more natural than the kind of like coral bird that I picked out, because I can't really think of a bird that looks like that. And like I said last time, it just seems kind of weird to me to like go out of my way to make the bunny look natural, but then I have a made-up bird. I don't know. But I'm pretty happy with this so far, and this is in my Stitch Sania rotation, which I'll talk about in a bit, so this will be coming back out. Actually, why don't I just talk about it right now? Okay, so I have decided for my May plans to do a Lindy Stitches inspired Stitch Sania, which is essentially where you work on a whip that you want to see progress on during the week, and then if you meet your goal with that whip for the week, whatever that be, if it's like stitches or hours or like I want to finish this little area or something, then at the weekend you get a new start. And that's the approach that I have taken, because I do want to see some whip project progress, but also I was kind of itching for some new starts, so I thought, perfect, get a little bit of both. I made a little graphic for my Instagram for what my plans are, so I'll put that up on the screen here. The two main whips that I want to work on for this, I think Stephanie's doing 4 different whips, each for a week. I'm just going to do 2, and the 2 that I'm working on is 100 Owls by Alforce Embroidery. It was a sal last year. It is now well over, and I'm super behind, and I'd like it to be finished. And then Hello Petal is the other one, and I want that to be finished before the Hello Sunshine stitch along starts. So my plan is I'm going to do 1 week on 100 owls, which I just did, so you're about to see my progress on that. And then I had a new start at the weekend, like yesterday, basically. And then I'm going to work on Hello Petal next week and basically see how far I get over 5 days. My goal is to touch it all 5 days. And then I'll get a new start at the weekend, which will be Sewing Girl from Little Room in the Attic. And then I will work on Hello Petal again for the next set of weekdays with the goal to be a finish. So I'm hoping over those 10 days I can get it done. And then if I finish it, then I will start the little Stardew Valley horse that I showed last time from Stitch to the Past. Again, I can show, I've kitted them up so I can show them in plans/haul. And then for the last week, I will pull back out 100 owls and my start will be Hello Sunshine if I touch it again for 5 days. I don't think I'm going to finish the owls in May, but I just basically want to see how far that I can get over working on it for each of those weekdays. And then that weekend is when Hello Sunshine comes out, so then I'll start Hello Sunshine, which I'm very excited about. So May started on a Saturday. So a lot of people waited to start until Monday the 3rd to start their May plans if they did weekly stuff. I ended up actually starting it on the Saturday, May 1st, with a new start. So I've actually done 5 new starts because I was already going to start this on May 1st because I'm doing it as a stitch along with my girl Morgan, Honeybee Stitcher. And so I thought, cool, now I have an excuse. I'll put it in my Sania plans. So my first new start is coming up next. And it kind of gets into the sewing as well. So I will show you the project first, and then I'll do a little sewing interlude, and then I'll show you the rest of my projects. So this is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. I am doing this as a stitch along, like I said, with Morgan, and our hashtag for that is hashtag Hello Quaker Cell. And we've done it that way because Liz has said that there will be other Quakers in the series. There's already Quaker Pumpkins and Quaker Snowflakes, and she has hinted that there might be more seasonal ones. So we just figured if we went Hello Quakers or whatever, and it is a start along anyway, then everybody can just kind of add to the hashtag as and when they, work on the different projects and stuff. And so it can keep on going. So I started this on the Saturday, and I worked on it the Saturday and the Sunday before I pulled out my owls. And this is my little start. And it's so beautiful. Yeah, I think that you can kind of see the fabric there. So this is on a 40 count little bunny linen by XJU Design. I will link her shop below. And I'm using all of the called for weeks threads. I'm sorry if the autofocusing is annoying. I have to figure out how to play with those settings a bit more to make sure that it doesn't keep focusing too often so that it disrupts the image. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so this is using the called for weeks, and I have done a top left corner start. And I did these 3 little motifs, and I started the stem of this pumpkin, and then I've done a little bit of the border to just kind of block out that edge for myself. This is going to be a super long project, very wide. I think it's on 40 count, it's going to be 16 inches. So I'm using the full fat quarter for this. Here's the... It's backwards. Okay, here it is. So I've started here, but it's going to go most of the way across this because I'm leaving my 2-inch border. But look how tiny these little stitches are. This is my first 40 count, and look how tiny those are. They're so tiny. Also, my back looks so good because it's only 1 strand. This is my first time using 1 strand. So I'm doing 1/2. And I feel like the coverage is really good. but I'm loving it. I did have to use a magnifier because my eyes are like horrible. I have several eye conditions, and like I just can't see that without getting a super bad headache and messing with my eyes. So I used my little magnifier, but it worked perfectly fine, and then I was golden. So, but I'm really happy with it. It's just so pretty. God, it's just so pretty. Oh, I forgot to show you what it was going to look like. Hold on. Okay, that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. It's like all of these beautiful kind of fall tones. And I'm just in love with it. And I've loved seeing everybody else who's either started it or like has just pulled out their, you know, their whip of it and is working on it again for a little excuse to get a move on it. And these are the threads. So it, like I said, it's like these very pretty fall tones. They're all Weeks colors. Oh, I just love it. I just love it. So I'll be very happy to pull that out again. I don't know when I can pull it out again, but at some point I'll be pulling that out again. And I love it. And the exciting part is that this is in a new bag that I made myself. So, you know how I said in last video that Liz has said that she was going to put out some vinyl project bag tutorials. Well, she did a couple of days after that. And I went, pedal to the metal, and I made 5 of them. So this is the first one that I made, and this is what's holding Quaker Pumpkins. So this is a vinyl front project bag, fully lined, and I used 2 of the Moda fabrics from the Folktale collection that I bought. This one in particular is the one that made me fall in love with this collection. Just look at it. Look at it. God, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Okay. And I used a kind of like maroony zipper for it. And then I made, like I did for the other ones, a matching little pouch to go with the project bag to hold any kind of like extra notions and stuff that I wanted to put in here. Because this is my first time ever stitching on vinyl and doing binding and doing mitered corners and stuff, it was a bit of a mess. Although my cutting has improved significantly. I feel like every project that I do now, my cutting is just so much more precise. So I'm really proud of myself about that. But as you can see, there's kind of like this corner over here is a little bumpy. Although the actual corner itself, I think the miter's not too bad. But the vinyl in particular, there was something, my foot, I tried as best as I could to keep the foot on top of the fabric when I was stitching rather than on top of the vinyl, but something about the way that this was feeding through the machine, it like caught up the binding on the back and was sort of just sewing the top and not sewing the back on. So it was just a whole faff with that. It took forever to get it to work. So in the end, I kind of just like gave up on it being a straight line and basically just made sure that it was like actually secured to the back. And yeah, like this edge right here, there's kind of like a bump in it. But anyway, this is my first try. And so I did use a new batting. I managed to find the Petal fleece, the fusible fleece, finally. And because I just like could not find it on Amazon or anywhere before, that looked like it came from like a shady kind of site that I didn't know if it was like going to be real or not. Or like if it would be off-brand or something, if it would be like the actual Petal version. But I finally found some because of some lovely comments from some viewers and messages. And so I used that for this, and I didn't have the bubbling problem at all. So I haven't heard any, like, I have heard some other people say that heat and bond does not work for them either. So I would say, you know, my final review is I would not recommend the heat and bond fusible fleece, but the Petal worked perfectly. It just was like a dream. And compared to how much I had to like peel up the other one, it was like, I honestly, while I was ironing it, I was like calling to Nico from across the dining room, and I was like, this is like the best day of my life. I just ironed it and it just glued. And he was like, Yay! I'm so happy for you, because he was just like, okay, but but I was like, but this is so serious. So anyways, this is my first attempt. But because I'm me, and I really do want to learn how to sew, I was sort of like, well, the only way that I'm going to get better with the vinyl and the rest of it, because I'm a person who really does like vinyl front bags, so I was like, the only way I'm going to get better is if I just make more of them. So the next day, I was having kind of a hard week, personal life-wise, just family stuff, and so I took a day off and made 4 more, which I will show you now. And these turned out so much better. Whatever the issue was that was happening with like the vinyl, the binding not matching up when the vinyl was there, whatever that was, I managed to fix it and it never happened again. And it sewed like a dream, and I was able to get really straight lines actually from getting the vinyl binding part on. So not really sure what I did the first time, but it didn't happen again, so yay. And I feel like my binding on the sides actually got consistently better as well with each one that I did. And the mitered corners, I mean, they'll get more and more like precise the more of them I do, but I was pretty happy with it. So I made this one. And this is using a mixture of some of that same fat quarter bundle that I got from Hobbycraft. I did find out it is by Craft Cotton Company. That's kind of blowing out a little bit. It's a lot dark. It's a lot more like jewel toned than that. Let's see if I can. That's a bit more like it, but it's a lot closer to my shirt than it's showing. But anyway, so this is from Craft Cotton Company. I did manage to find the maker. And then this is some more Moda Folktale. And then I just used a lighter zipper, and I made a little pouch. This one, because it was a fat quarter and I didn't have as much of the fabric, I had to go for a little smaller pouch than I made for the other ones. But this is kitted up for Hello Sunshine, because I thought, because it was going to be like a tropical tree with the little, you know, leaves and stuff. So this is what Hello Sunshine will be going into, and I already have the DMC in here for that. The next one that I made, I have put Tulip House in. I have rehomed it. I'll show you where the other bag went in a bit. So I put Tulip House in here, and this is also the Moda Folktale. And I've used this kind of pretty pink and ochre spotty flowers on the back, and then the inner part is the kind of yellow with the red spots. And for the pouch, same thing, although I used, instead of the pink zipper, I used a maroon. And then the last one that I made was this one. So this is using the Moda cider fabric that I got. Both this side and the inner part are both from the cider collection. And this is currently housing my sewing girl, which I'll be starting next weekend, which I can show in plans. So yeah, so I made some more project bags. Once again, Liz has knocked it out of the park with her sewing tutorials. It was so easy to follow. And also I was like DMing her about some of my issues that I was having with it, and she was like super helpful and cute and wonderful as always. And I just feel like even though I'm such a beginner sewer, I feel like I've really learned like a lot of technique, I think, from watching her tutorials. Like certain things that I didn't know even were a thing that you should be doing when sewing. She's mentioned in things that I'm like, oh, okay. And so now I have these kind of like side tricks and stuff with it, which is just really cool. I thoroughly enjoy her tutorials. So if you haven't seen that one, check it out. I will link it in the cards and down below. And I'm very proud of myself for making all of those. Like I said, they got like consistently better quality-wise the more of them that I made. Like, as you can see, the binding on this one, for example, is so much more like even. my stitches on the actual like vinyl part. Yay! Definitely will be making more of those. I need to like replenish my fleece supply and everything before I do that. So it'll probably be until like next paycheck, but I'm very happy with what I got done. Okay, so now we can get to the Sania whip. So my first whip for Sania was, oh wait, what am I talking about? That was only 3 more that I showed you. I did a 5th one. God, I'm foolish. Okay. So this last one, whoops, this is using 2 more of the Craft Cotton Company fabrics from that fat quarter bundle. So this is like the blue version of the leaves and then kind of a little matching blue leaves on the inside. And I used a navy zipper for this one and a navy zipper for the little pouch. And this one, what is this holding? Oh, this is holding the new start that I had this weekend, which I'll show you in a bit. That is Winter Carrot Dread by Frosted Pumpkin. Okay, now we've actually seen all of the 5 project packs. My first whip of Sania. So, like I said, this is the 100 Owls Sal by Owl Forest Embroidery, and it is a free chart on their website, a free PDF. You can download it. They ran it as a sal with 1 part released every week last year for like 18 weeks or something, but the sal is over now. It finished in January, but I'm still going on it because I got like super behind doing other things. So I'm still working on it, and this is what it'll look like when it's finished. I love owls, so that's part of why I like this chart. And I've never said this before, but with each of the little parts, each of the owls in the chart, it's called 100 owls because there are 100 owls in the chart, and each of the owls is a real owl species, like to depict a real owl species, and they list the species in the chart and like tell you a bit about the owls with each of them, and I just think that's a cool touch. But anyway, so the last time that you saw it, it looked like this. And I had done half of part 8, which was the top side border on the right-hand side. So this is where we are now. I made a ton of progress on this. I'm very pleased with what I did in 5 days. So this over here is the border that I did the last time. So I finished it up on this side. I did this side border. So that was part 8. And then I came and I did part 9, which is, let me grab this better. Oh, crap. That did not work at all. I was like, let me grab this better. It drops it on the ground. Part 9, which is this little blue owl tree with the 2 little orange owls up above it and the little green motif to the right of it. And then, so that was part 9. And then I did part 10, which is sort of, how do I angle this up correctly? I really need to get clips for this. I forget every week. I've done this 9 times. Like, you would think that I would, like, ever... Oh, that's the wrong side of it. Okay. So, basically, part 10 is this. So, this little owl, the big gray one, this guy, this fella, this one right here, and the little acorns. So yeah, so I made a good amount of progress. I did 2.5 parts in 5 days, which I was pleased with. And so my goal, you know, if I can get 2.5 parts in the next 5 days that I pull this out, that would be fab. I'm using the little owl needle minder from Outer Cross Stitch's Hello Pumpkin. But let me give you a view again of the whole top of the chart. Just what I have now, the whole top. I love this. I am doing the DMC conversion from the Owl Forest threads because this is like before I had access to those, which I hope to get them for the next Owl Forest chart that I'm going to do, whenever that may be. And I'm doing this on the Called For Linen, which is a 32 count limestone from Zweigart. It's a pale green. I'm not sure if that always picks up that well, but it is a pale green. And the next part is right underneath the blue owls, and it is the huge owl. That's part 11. Or no, wrong. Part 11 is basically the copy of those on this side, and then part 12 is the huge owl down here. So if I could get those two, because that owl is going to be loads of stitching. So if I could at least get, 11 done and like start on 12, I would be very pleased with that as progress for Sania, because then all that I'm going to have left is basically like the little bottom. There's like 2 more bottom owl motifs and then the bottom borders. There is 18 parts total, and I have done 10. So I've made significant progress on that. So because I did what I set out to do there on my Sania on my Sania whip. Y'all, why am I losing my mind? I probably need dinner. I'm like a mess. Okay. I got a new start, which is what I've been keeping in this bag, like I said. And that is my Winter Carriage Ride by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'll show you what it's going to look like here. I'm just using the PDF of this chart. And I started this last night. I have a very tiny little start here on the Q snap. I started in the top left-hand corner. And I have done part of this mitten, part of this coffee cup, these 2 snowflakes, and part of this icicle. And then I've started on the green in this mitten, which then I'll pull down into the green in this tree. Yeah, I'm just basically kind of going to fill out from this corner and go that way. And I'm doing this with the called for DMC and weeks on a 32 count Picture This Plus Belfast in earthen. I think the called for is like an oaken Lugana, but I kind of liked the terracotta-iness of the earthen a bit more than the brownie of the oaken for this particular chart. So I went with that, and I'm really happy with it so far. It's going to be really cute. It's also going to be pretty teeny as well, so I can't imagine it's going to take me that long. I don't know how much I'll be working on it, like, in the near future, but it's in my whips now, yay. So, better than nothing, because that was one of the projects that I had wanted to start in March Madness, but the fabric didn't end up being right, so I needed to get some more fabric and everything, so now it's been pushed to a Sania start, but I'm very happy with it. So I'll probably put a few more stitches in that tonight. And then I will mention here just quickly the other projects that I'm intending to start, just briefly. So the one is I think it's Girl Scissors and Sewing Machine by Little Room in the Attic off Etsy. I'll put a picture of it here. This was haul last time, I believe, maybe 2 times ago. I'm not sure. But I am going to be doing this with all of the called for threads, which includes some Krynic and DMC on this. I guess you can kind of tell the color. 32 count rubescent linen from Chromatic Alchemy. It's very glary. So it's like a pinky purpley color, and I think it's going to be really pretty. So that's going to be started on that. And then I will be starting the Stardew Valley horse from Stitch to the Past off Etsy, which I told you about. I'm doing that one for Nico because, like I said, he loves the horse with the sombrero, and Stardew's one of our favorite games. I had Tulip House in the bag that Mommy Loves You GB sent to me that she made with the cowboy print on it, but I thought I'm doing a horse with a sombrero, so I've put that in here because I was like, this needs to be in this bag. And I'm just gonna do this on actually the rest of the cut of the limestone that 100 Owls is on, and I'm just using the called for DMC There's quite a few like browns and some bright colors, so that one should be fun. It should also be a pretty quick stitch. It's not very big, although it is like full coverage within the horse, so I don't know. I don't know if I'll finish it that weekend, but I don't think it'll be something that's going to be in my whip pile for like ever. And then the last start that I'll be getting in Sania is Hello Sunshine, but I can't show you that yet because it's a mystery Sal. I can show you some of the preview pics that Sally's put up, at least of the colors and of the kind of like blurred out version of the chart. This is the last one in her like seasons, trees, Sal's that she's been doing. It will be the third one that I start. I do have pumpkin, which I'll start more in like fall time, Hello Pumpkin, and then I'll have done all of them. I'm going to display them all in the same way. I have a little easel that I put Hello Deer in. And so if I finish Petal, then I can start Hello Sunshine on the weekend that the chart comes out. And yeah, I'm really excited about that one. It looks like it's going to be some really fun tropical colors. I don't anticipate doing any kind of color conversion for that. I'm really happy with the colors. And I did get the little toucan needle minder, which I'll show in haul. So I think we've done sewing. We've done all the stitching that I've done. Again, there's not going to be loads of different whips, I think, at this point, because I'm doing Sania, so it's going to be like one whip and then a new start. But, you know, I have done quite a bit of knitting, though, to kind of break up all the working on one project. So I have 2 projects that you've already seen, and then I have one new start, new cast on. Sorry, I'm using cross-stitch language. So for the one that you've already seen, I'll do the oldest one first. So I did put quite a few more rows into my Good Times blanket from Wool and the Gang. This was a kit that I got off their website, and I am doing mine in the colors Jog Gray, Cameo Rose, and White Noise. I have currently joined in the Jog Gray and the Cameo Rose. This is where we're at. So this is where it was the last time that you saw it. So I put in probably like 10 rows maybe. And I'm still enjoying it. It's a very easy, just garter stitch. I think I have only like 10 more rows or something, and I get to join in the white, which will be fun. And I think I'm going to bring this when I get my hair cut because there's like no pattern to it. I literally just knit the whole way across. So I think I'll bring that. But it's so soft. This is so soft. Their shiny happy cotton is really, really nice. So that's my progress on that one. And then I worked a bit more on my Little Wonder hat, also from Wool and the Gang. This is their Feeling Good yarn. It's very soft, very squishy, and this is in the color Mellow Mauve. And the hat will look like this. And the last time that you saw it, I had basically cast on the rib at the bottom. That's the little marker. And now I've come up and I've started in on the body of the hat with the stockinette, and I finished off the rib section. So it's going to be, you know, we're working with this basically. And this is knit flat, and then basically they do like a drawstring pull at the top and then use the rest of that to like weave in an invisible seam or whatever. And I have, I don't know, maybe like 20 or 30 more rows or something before I start the decrease rows, because it needs to be, I think it's like 8 inches or something before we start all the decreasing and stuff. But I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's kind of weird knitting a like wool hat in like the spring, but it has been so cold that it doesn't really matter one way or the other. So anyway, so I did put some in this because I kind of wanted to like see the stockinette coming together, and I'm pretty pleased with my tension on this. I think it looks really good. So that's that. And I'm knitting all of these on my interchangeable Knit Pro symphonies that I got from a lovely viewer. And then also I've bought more of them in different sizes now, but she gave me a little starter set. So new start. I said it again. new cast on. As y'all know, I bought a lot of sock yarn in the last video, and I asked people about like their sock recommendations on Instagram, and some people responded as well in the comments to the last video about like what's a good beginner sock, and a lot of people recommended the Crazy Sock Lady like vanilla sock tutorial that she has on YouTube, and then there's also a Ravelry pattern for it, like a written pattern. And so last night when I was feeling kind of like I had done a lot of stitching because I'd been doing all of the owls, and then I basically kept working on 100 owls because I really wanted to finish that other part before I got my new start. So I worked on it for like a good part of the afternoon yesterday and then got my new start at night. And then by that point I'd been stitching for like 9 hours already that day and I was just really tired of stitching. So I picked up my knitting and I did a few rows on my hat, but then I was like, I'm bored of my hat. And then I remembered the sock yarn. So I started watching her tutorial and I watched it through, or like almost all the way through. I think I got to like the part of the actual like body of the foot part after you've turned the heel. And then I decided that I was going to do it, even though it was like 1:30 by this point, and I was like, I'm gonna start it now. That was a bold decision, but I have cast on a sock. So I am working on her vanilla sock. I am following the video. I probably will end up buying the Ravelry pattern just so that I can have like a written version once I get to the part where I've like turned the heel. Let me see if I can get that to, yeah. So I have cast on the cuff. And this is a top-down sock, and there's like the little, so you can see that it's a tube. I'm using the magic loop method. She has a tutorial for magic loop for 9-inch circulars and for DPNs, I think, for this vanilla sock. But I'm using the magic loop because it was 1 a.m. so I couldn't like order 9-inch circulars. And that's how far I've got. So I think I'm like five rows into the cuff, which is the ribbing. And the yarn that I'm using is, I showed you last time, this Osterman Step in the color 324. And it's self-striping, I believe. So I think it's going to look like that. And right now I have that. And this is what it looks like as the ball. I really like these colors. They're super fun. It's a bit scratchy as far as the sock yarn goes compared to the other sock yarn that I bought, but I thought might as well. I don't know. Doesn't matter. What I'm starting with. It's mostly just to practice the technique because I'm doing quite a lot of new things with this. So number one, I've never knit in the round. So that was new. Number two, I've never knit with a weight this small of yarn. This is their sock yarn. I think it's 4-ply. And I've never knit on needles this small. Never done a lot of things. It was so close to going into the sin bin this morning that I actually don't even know what to tell you. Basically, I cast this on 5 times until I got it right. It was a long tail cast on, which wasn't the problem because I know how to do that. I just did like a quick little refresher, like a 30 seconds of a tutorial, and was like, oh right, I remember that, and then I did it. But because I'd never joined in the round before, I had like a ginormous ladder on the first one, like a ladder so big I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna fix that. So I just like I frogged it, and then I cast on again, and the second time that I cast on, it was going all right until like something got dropped or something on the second round, and then suddenly I had like 4 more stitches and I just didn't even know what I'd done, so I just frogged that again. Then the third time, some stitches got dropped like 3 rows before, and the rest of them were turning out really wonky tension wise, so I frogged again. And then the 4th time, what happened the 4th time? It was something else horrible. I don't know, whatever. So this is the 5th time. And knock on every, surface imaginable, it's actually going all right. So I fixed the ladder problem. I don't know if you can see that. I've fixed the laddering problem on the joins on this side and this side, which is good. Whatever issue I was having with the drop stitches is like completely gone. I don't know what was going on there, but I don't know. It's all fixed now. There was one drop stitch that I was able to fix, but the other one I couldn't really figure out where the yarn had gone. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was not fixable. It was gonna take longer to fix it than it would to frog it and do it again. So I've done, like I said, like 5 rounds of that, and I have maybe like 10 more to go or something before I start working on the leg part of the sock. I think she does a longer sock leg. I don't really like my socks to go that far up my leg, so I probably will do like about half of what she said based on watching the tutorial and like see how long her sock looks. I think I'll do probably about half of that. So this is very slow going. I'm learning all kinds of new skills, but I think the ribbing looks really good. If you can, come on. Yeah, I'm pleased with how that's turning out, actually. It's kind of hard to tell because it's like speckled and stuff in the rib stitches, but you know, it's a learning curve, but I like learning new things, and I think once I get the hang of it, I will enjoy it. But Man o' War was this fiddly as all get out, I tell you. But we're getting there, and I really did want to learn how to knit socks, and I'm learning how to knit socks. It's a very good tutorial if you haven't watched that tutorial before and you've been like interested in sock knitting. I'm a very much a beginner to knitting in the first place, and I'm following along, you know, although I mean trial and error, but I feel like knitting has a lot more trial and error than cross stitch does, because you kind of have to like learn how to read your knitting for one, and for two, you also like have to learn what kind of different things can go wrong and how to fix them in a way that I don't think you have to do with cross stitch, but I can already see how much better I'm getting, you know, with at least the way this cast on went. I was very pleased with my cast on, so I'll probably knit a bit more on this tonight as well. Try to see if I can get up to the leg while we're watching TV or something. So that's all of the projects that I've worked on. I have a little bit of haul, although most of my haul was actually just kitting up the projects that I'm doing for Sania. So, like, for example, I got some more white cashel for Hello Sunshine. I got all of the DMC for all of the charts that I said when I went on my hobby craft visit, which was awesome, by the way. I loved going to the craft store and like walking around and just like looking at stuff. I did get one comment saying that, you know, reminding me that the hobby craft skeins are more expensive than if I got them from like Lakeside, which I completely know that. I was just so excited to like go to a store and grab them. That's why I did it. So I've gotten a couple of other things, some of which I'll show you what I picked up while I was there first. So the Little Wonder hat has a little pom-pom like you saw, and so I got some of these little pom-pom makers, the plastic ones, because I felt like doing the plastic ones rather than using making the cardboard ones myself, which is what it said to do in the pattern, but I just felt like using these, so I picked up some of these because I figure I'm going to make more pom-poms in the future, so might as well. And then I got, and this was with a specific project in mind. So in March Madness, I started the Hello from Liz Matthews spring tree, and Liz finishes those kind of as like a tree stand, which is how I'm going to do it. And she uses like I think like one of those flower frogs as the base, and then like a stick in the center. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool to use like one of these little like bark disc kind of things and then like hot glue a stick to that and then stand it on that. So I picked this up from their like rustic wedding section kind of thing for like £1 or something. So I'm going to use this for that, and I think that'll be really cool. Got some John James gold needles, size 24 and 26. I already have some 28 ones. I hadn't actually tried this brand before, and I'm enjoying it so far. I've used the 26 already for some projects. So I picked up those, and I also got this Clover white marking pen while I was there, and, you know, just random stuff. What else did I get? I think that was everything from Hobbycraft, because it was, like, mostly just the DMC. I ordered off of Amazon some of these erasable fabric pens. It's red blue and black, and they also are like heat erasable, and then you can also use like the eraser tips at the top of them. And I got this because I was using a like air disappearing marker for the Stardew embroidery. It's right here. God, I'm so bad at pointing at things where they are. The Stardew embroidery thing, I was using the air one, and that was annoying the heck out of me. So now I can heat do them with ironing at the end of embroidery, if I ever do embroidery again. And then I got the toucan needle minder from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, like I said. And these are like the colors that's going to be in the chart. How cute is that? How freaking cute is that? Ugh, I love him. I love him. I love the needle minder Sally does. It's like one of the best parts of Caterpillar Cross Stitch, in my opinion, is these dang needle minders. They're just so cute. Eee! I love that pink and the teal. Very excited about that. I also just ordered an absolute load of B5200 Blanc and 310 from Lakeside Needlecraft because I was just like kept running out of it. And so I just ordered like 4 skeins of each and was like, these are just going in the stash. Because I keep losing them in different projects, and then I keep like stealing white from different projects, and then there keeps being no white because I keep stealing it. Anyway, does anybody else do that? Do you feel me? Okay, but the last thing, and this is probably the literal most exciting of all, so get hype. I placed an order with our Flosstube friend Ymir at Almond M&M's from her Almond M&M's studio, where she dyes beautiful silk floss, and they came in. Look at them. Look! Oh, they're so teeny. I can't even show you them all. Okay. I'll do like, oh my god, I'll be like an influencer, and I'll be like, as I show you them. Okay. So the first one, this is wine. Also, I feel like when everybody has shown these on their channel, I had like no idea how small they actually are. Like something about it where I just like didn't get it, but like is this like smaller than my thumb? Just for reference, because I thought, I was just like, oh, they're like cute, and then they came and they're like little vitamins of joy. Like they're just so tiny. Anyway, so this is wine. And she even writes the names tiny. I love her. I love her to death. If you don't watch her channel, you need to. So this is beautiful. And like I said, these are all silk floss. These are the 8-yard skeins, although she does also dye hanks. If you were doing like a massive project and you wanted it all in that color. This one is rosé. Beautiful pink. I got sangria, which is such a cool modeling. I don't know if I get it on my hand in such a way that I can like show you all of the parts of it at once. So it's like a white to a light purple to a dark red to a gray to a black to a red. It's like the coolest variegation. I love this one, but it looks like sangria, obviously. This one is Estrella. And it is this blue, orange, yellow, white. I think this one is a really pretty variegation. I love that. I think this would be super fun for like a small. And then the last one that I got is Bluebell, which is this really pretty like green, blue, yellowy kind of color. I just love it. They feel so soft. They're so beautiful. They're like little bundles of joy. I cannot wait to use these. I didn't have any project in mind. I was just like, yay, support a floss tuber. And also these look amazing. She's just put out a new line of colors that are all off of like May flowers. I'll see if I can put up a picture. That also look beautiful. So if you're interested, you should really check them out. They're such great quality. I cannot wait to stitch something with these. In fact, I believe my girl Liz, hello from Liz Matthews, is putting out a new celebration small today or tomorrow or this week or something, based on some hints she's put on Insta. So potentially, if it's another one of those kind of like, you could do this in a monochrome thing, maybe I'll pick one of these. Ooh. Or if it's not monochrome, maybe I'll like mix these together or like throw her in. Oh, wouldn't that be pretty? Oh my god. Oh, isn't that dreamy? Okay. So yay! These came. Thank you so, so much, Umir. And they came very quickly from New York, and I just love them, and I can't wait to buy more in the future. And definitely, if I'm gonna do something so big that I need a hank of it, like, I might be hitting you up, Umir. So, that was all my haul. Not a whole lot this week. I had a huge haul last time, so that's probably why. In terms of plans, I'm just sticking to my Sania plans. So I have like one more day, i.e. today, on the winter carriage ride, and then tomorrow I pull out Hello Petal, and I'll work on that until for like Saturday morning, and then I will get my new start on Sewing Girl, and then I'll pull out Hello Petal again the next week, and hopefully by the end of that week it's finished so that I can start the horse. And then by that point, I think I'll be back with a new video. I don't know if it'll be before or after Hello Sunshine is out. I haven't like counted the days, but that's my plan until then. Hopefully I don't deviate from the plan and start that celebration small whenever it's out, but knowing me, that might be a slight deviation, so we'll see. But yeah, fingers crossed I can get Hello Petal done. I think I can. It is quick stitching because it's just like the tiny little DMC motifs. So yeah, that's basically it in terms of what I have to talk about. I do want to do some more knitting in the next 2 weeks, so hopefully that'll be good. And then, you know, we'll be getting to the end of term and getting to the summer months, hopefully, with things looking better for everyone. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Again, with regards to my giveaway winners, Karin, Helen, and Leanne, if you guys will make sure to contact me and give me your address, then I can get your charts out to you. Thanks again to everyone for participating in that giveaway and for participating in my channel. It means so much to me that you guys spend a little stitchy time with me every fortnight, and this is one of the highlights of my month, so thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment down below anything that you want to comment. Let me know about your May plans. What are you doing this month? Sania, Mania, nothing at all? I'd love to hear about it so that I can, you know, check you out on Instagram, follow your progress and everything. If you're interested in seeing what I'm doing, little updates in between, you can follow me at my Instagram, which is Evelyn Across the Pond, same name as here on YouTube. I post little updates on my progress, and I'll be doing that over the next few days. I think once this video goes live tomorrow, I'll post my Owl Forest progress. I wanted to save it for you guys first. And if you are new here and you liked what you see, I hope that you subscribe, and if you ring the notification bell, you can get notified when I upload again next. I'm usually pretty good about 2 weeks time, so hopefully I'll see you then. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye!